Here are some things I learned about love. And if you're new here, hello, I'm Morgan. This is my digital journal. And I'm actually upgrading. I was using my phone and just randomly speaking about shit, about problems in my life with no structure and whatnot. But now I actually have my camera, I'm using my mic, and I have some points written out for you guys. And that's not really important, but I just wanted to do a little introduction. But let's dive right into some of the things I've learned about love. And just really quick, this is not relationship advice because I suck with relationships. All right. I struggle a lot with understanding the romantic connection between men and women. I've had a lot of instances where I've made women uncomfortable, and I have had several one-sided relationships, so unrequited love type things, and I'm actually dealing with one right now, and it sucks. But so I don't have very good relationship experience. However, I have been in one relationship, but it lasted 3 months, and it was actually a really difficult one for me, and it was one that I had to learn to love myself from. It was really difficult to bounce back from, but it was a huge turning point in my life, and I'm glad I did. I learned a lot about myself and how to now overcome challenges that life throws in my path. I'll dive more into that in another video, but this intro has been long enough, so let's dive in. And the first thing that I learned about love is if you're not happy with yourself, you won't be happy in a relationship. When I was just being me, being the young, annoying little shit that I was in high school, even middle school, and just going into freshman year of college, I always thought, it's okay if I'm not happy right now. I'm not doing anything fulfilling and that really is purposeful right now, but I will be happy when I get a girlfriend. That was my mentality, and that is not how you want to think about it. In a relationship, for it to really work long term, you need to have two people who love themselves. One of my favorite quotes is, "You can't pour from an empty cup." How can you love someone else when you can't even love yourself? And this is something that was very difficult for me to learn, because I was always like, oh, I really, really want a girlfriend, though. I think she would make me happy. Yes, she will at the beginning, and it'll be great. But what happens is you start externalizing all your feelings to her, specifically your happiness. And every little thing that they do will control you. It'll control you. Be like, oh, why did she say this? Oh, what did she mean by this text message? Does it mean that I'm not good enough? Or you start overthinking because you've put so much dependence and emotional dependence on her. And basic principle, if she's not happy, you're not happy. If she's happy, then you're happy. But that is amplified perhaps 100 times. And then you become completely dependent on her for feeling good. And that is stressful. And you end up losing yourself in the process. At least I did. That's what happened in my last relationship. That's what I struggled with a lot. Because it was my first one, I was really, really excited. I wanted to do everything in my power to make her happy. And that meant hurting myself in the process. And I've learned not to do that anymore. The next thing I've learned is you shouldn't have to force a relationship. And it's definitely something I'm struggling with right now. And that's kind of why I have this unrequited love situation, because I know she doesn't. Damn, it's a hard pill to swallow. I know she doesn't like me. Okay? but I really, really am interested in her. And if this is going to work out in the long term, you shouldn't have to force it. That's why people always talk about that falling in love at first sight, or that initial spark. When you meet that person, you know it. You just know they're the one. It's a feeling that you can't artificially create and just force. And that's low-key kind of what I'm doing with this girl right now. I'm trying to make these artificial sparks, if that makes any sense. But a relationship is one where someone is willing to put in the effort. You shouldn't have to convince them to like you. You shouldn't have to force them to do nice things for you. You deserve way better than that. But yet you still do it. I feel like I'm just talking to myself right now. God, I need to take my own advice, guys. This is crazy. Yeah. But the right person will work with you in life, not against you. And that's something I had to learn, because when it comes to relationships, especially when problems arise, you need to realize that it's you and your partner against the problem, not you against your partner. And that's what I think a lot of people get wrong. They're so focused on the positions during an argument and not necessarily solving the issue. Yeah. And the last part with that is just the amount of effort someone puts into you is a very clear indicator of how much they like you. I know it's tough to understand because I'm literally going through this right now. She did something in class that was rather disrespectful to me, but yeah, I'm still like, I'm gonna gloss over it and be like, it happens. It's chill. Maybe she was having a bad day. It's whatever. But honestly, if you're always texting first, if you're always calling first, always initiating times to hang out, and she gives you one-word responses, that's a sign that it's most likely not going to work out. So don't feel like you have to force that. There's so many other people out there, and there's definitely someone who, excuse me, I had a lot of chocolate pretzels, I'm sorry, but there's definitely someone out there who will treat you better. Okay? And lastly, just going into my understanding of what the meaning of love is, and that's what I'm going to wrap up here with. Because those were the main 2 points that I learned from my last relationship. If you're not happy with yourself, you won't be happy in a relationship, and you shouldn't have to force one. If you're going to take anything away from this video, it's those 2. And lastly, I just want to wrap up with the meaning of love, because I don't have a clear-cut answer. To me, love is the safety, comfortability, trust, and shared vision someone else brings into your life. Love is being that go-to person she can say anything to vent to share her happy moments with, or to just tell you what they had for breakfast. It's just being that person. It's like, oh, I can't wait till when I remember in my last relationship, something would happen during my day. I'd be like, oh, I can't wait to tell her about this. And that was kind of nice. Love is staying up on call until 4 a.m. knowing you have to wake up at 7 the next day. Love is learning how to cook their favorite dishes. Love is leaving little notes scattered around their room, in their pockets of their jacket, or in their backpack, just reminding them of how much they mean to you. I don't have a short, specific answer when it comes to love. I feel like anything I would try and conjure up, It wouldn't do the word justice now that I experienced it firsthand. And oh my God, I'm so sorry, guys. What's wrong with me? But yeah, I feel I wouldn't be able to do the word justice if I were to try and describe it in my own words. But I share all of these moments with you guys because these are all things that I experienced in my last relationship. And I'm very, very grateful that these happened, and I've gotten to the point where I can appreciate them. I can look back on these moments and smile rather than regret, which I did for a very long time. And also just wish that things had gone differently. What if I did this instead? What if I did this instead? Right? Thinking back like that rather than just taking it for what it is and just appreciating it. I've learned that the pain is part of the process now. And honestly, I still feel it a little bit, but I'm also grateful for that because the pain is a sign that what I had with this person was real. And that's reassuring. I learned a lot from her, and she was a big part of my life who I will never forget. She was my first love, and she was the reason why I got into self-improvement. It sounds so cringe of saying got into self-improvement, but honestly, I made really, really big changes after the relationship, which I'm really proud of. I worked on myself internally and also externally. Of course, that was extremely vague. When I say internally, I feel I'm more in touch with my emotions. My communication skills have gotten a lot better. I'm able to take on life challenges with confidence because I love being who I am. I dealt with suicide in the past, and I've overcome that. So I feel I've become a lot stronger internally and mentally. On the outside, I feel I've built up my physique, started a few businesses, and I feel I found kind of my purpose in life. Being an online creator and entrepreneur and a student, I have a lot more direction in my life, and I feel like I'm living a fulfilling life now and making an impact. And that's what's really important to me. And I wouldn't be here if I hadn't met her. So she is an important part of my life, even if she's not here anymore. But yeah. I now know to be more careful with love, who I choose next, and not to be so desperate about finding someone. This is definitely something that I struggle with, and I know a lot of other people around me, especially in college too, because there's so many beautiful women here being so desperate to get into a relationship. It's fun. I know you go to the libraries together, you can study, you can sleep over, you can watch movies, go to class. It's really lovely, right? But I've learned to be more selective when it comes to finding my next relationship. And that's because of how beautiful I know love is. And it's also painful. It's a double-edged sword. There's always two sides to a coin. So you can put yourself out there, but remember there's always going to be a cost. When you love, you also bear the risk of being hated. Okay? So I say this not only to help you all be successful with your relationships and whatnot, but to also protect you from those who aren't meant to be in your life. And that's a difficult pill to swallow because there's many people in my life who I've wanted to stay so bad. Especially this girl that I'm hung up on right now. I definitely want her to be a part of my life, but I get the sense that she doesn't want the same thing. So I'm going to have to let her go because honestly, I deserve better. And it's tough because I really, really want her to be a part of it. And that's a tough pill to swallow. So you can take what I talked about with a grain of salt, because remember, I'm not that experienced when it comes to relationships, but this is just my perspective on love and just a few things I've learned. So I'll see you guys for the next video. Thank you.